Hello and welcome to the Money Queen podcast. I am Alex Nicolaitis, the Money Queen. I am here to break the stigma that we don't talk about money here. I will deliver the loving bitch slaps that you need in your business to elevate you as a leader and support you through to that next level of welcoming in the wealthiest version of yourself. Backed by 14 years in the accounting and bookkeeping industry, I utilize the support of the masculine systems, structure, and ATO compliance combined with the feminine energetics of mentoring and allowing ourselves to be open to receiving and holding space for queens like yourself who are committed to forming a healthy relationship with money. So hit that subscribe button, leave me a rating, and I cannot wait to have you by my side as we raise the feminine collective and create true generational wealth and change. So I had a client ask me a couple of days ago, why money, Alex? Why are you a money coach? And I'm like, I love that this comes from a client because she's actually paying for my services. And I'm like, I love the inherent trust that actually is behind this, because it's like, I trust you already, that I know what you have done for me and what you are doing for me is to the betterment of my business. But I'm also still curious as to, why did you choose to be a money coach? Like, where did this actually come from for you? And as I explained to her why I chose this path, how I came to be in this journey, I was like, this gets to be an episode. So this is going to be a bit of a reflective episode. And also, whilst you're listening to this, I want you to relate to your own chosen career path, your own chosen business path, and think, why me? Like, why did I choose this? And because we're coming up towards the end of the year, it's also a reflective time of the year when people get into an awful big panic because the world shuts down on the 25th of December, obviously. I can't fucking stand that. But then when people have time off, they are actually allowing themselves the space to go, do I actually love what I'm doing? Well, how did I even get here? And it's something that a lot of people, because life is quote unquote busy, I fucking hate that word also, and we don't allow ourselves the space to go, how? What steps led me to here? And am I actually satisfied here? Do I love it here? Right? If you haven't listened to my last episode, are you still in love with your business? Have you fallen out of love with your business? Go and listen to that one. If notes in this episode trigger you or make you think, oh, maybe I don't love what I'm doing. Maybe I do get to reset something. Go and have a listen to that one after you get the juiciness of this episode here. So, and also with the Christmas break as well, a lot of people have some time off, and the start of the new calendar year, it's like, oh, new year, new me, which I also can't stand because I'm like, you don't need to wait till the 1st of January to change your life. You don't need to wait till the 1st of January to shift a habit, right? You can literally do that right now, even if it is 12 midday. Whenever you were listening to this, you can change your life from 12:01. Decide what it is that you are fucking done with. Commit to goals or commit to a plan to move forward, to say, this is the standard that I now accept in my life moving forward. These are bite-sized chunks that I will actually fucking do and commit to, so that it's not a huge task, that I don't get overwhelmed by how big of a change this is, right? How can I allow the 1% habits that I'm currently doing or not doing, and utilizing the compound effect of that to actually shift my world, to shift my reality? Because often what happens when people start out a new calendar year and they're like, oh, 2024 is going to be my year for fitness. we start like, and you know what? Valentine's Day comes around. And it's like, oh my God, like it's already been 6 weeks into the year and I haven't kept up with my fitness regime. It's now Valentine's Day. I'm single and no wonder I'm single because I'm 10 kilos overweight. No one will ever love me. Sob story, sob story, sob story, right? However, the person who decided to say yes middle of November at midday or 12:01 and stick with that 1% decision, they are going to have shifted their world dramatically in the previous, 2 months-ish, 2.5-ish months, because they didn't overwhelm themselves. They chose something that is palatable. Right? For me, I have been off my normal gym routine for the last 3 months because of the lead up to Europe and then whilst I was in Europe as well. And for myself to get back into or to move forward into my new fitness regime, I'm like, I commit to doing at least 30 minutes of exercise every single day. It can be as low intensive as just walking, or it can be a high intensity class at the gym. I've changed gyms now, and it's like there's a fresh energy that is now in my space. And that is my commitment to myself, because I absolutely know without a doubt that every day I can make time for 30 minutes of exercise to stay in alignment with that commitment to myself. And I know that it takes me 6 months, or it has taken me in the past 6 months, to get to my normal body shape and fitness regime. So I'm like, cool, I'm committed to this 6 months of at least 30 minutes of exercise a day and being mindful of what food I'm putting into my body. I know that that's my thing, right? And by committing to that small bite-sized 30 minutes of exercise, it allows myself to build trust in my body, in my being, in my life, which then exudes into my business. It exudes into my relationships. It exudes into my friendships as well. Because if we do not have trust in ourselves, first and foremost, how on earth are our clients going to trust us? How on earth are our friends going to trust us? And how on earth are our love partners going to trust us if we do not trust ourselves first, right? Slightly off topic there, but that's what gets to happen here. I was just going on a little rant and here we are. So why money coaching? Because from a very early stage, like when I was in year 6, I got asked I think as a lot of year 6s do when you're transitioning into a new phase, i.e. high school, what do you want to do when you grow up? Who do you want to be? And my answer was an actress or something in commerce. And growing up to that year 6 stage, I'd seen the polarity in like the money stories of my mother and father. My father came from a wealthy family. They had to leave everything behind in Egypt when they migrated to Australia when he was about 8 years old. And however, they built that wealth back up when they were in Australia, right? They left or they had to leave all of their wealth in Egypt. However, because of that wealthy mindset, of course, right? Of course, it was going to be regenerated again in a different environment because the mindset stayed the same. Contrary to that, my mother grew up in a scarcity mindset, and ironically, or not ironically, her father was a preacher, right? So a man of God. And a saying that I really resonate with and teach my clients is like, being poor does not make you more pure, because society has taught us that if you have money, you are seen as greedy, you are seen as evil, you are seen as filthy rich, like gross, dirty, ick, like we don't want that around here. And so the stereotype that society puts on that, it's like, well, if I have no money, then I won't ever be seen as greedy. If I have no money, I won't ever be seen as an evil person. I'll be seen as pure because I don't have that money, because those connotations, those stereotypes literally are completely detached from me. I'm the polar opposite of that, right? I'm so poor that I am the purest form of myself because I'm nowhere near being rich or being wealthy, right? So I saw the mindset of I saw the wealthy mindset, and I saw the poor scarcity mindset as well. And then when they came together in their relationship, how that actually played out as well in a few certain scenarios and dynamics. And I was like, I was fascinated by it. And numbers have always just come so naturally to me. So it was interesting for me when I was growing up in that imprint phase to see the difference in the mindset of how you are raised and how that impacts your adult life. And then your children, obviously, being me and my brothers and sisters, right? So, and I was always good with numbers. So I leaned into that. And I remember when I was faced with doing my HSC, I wanted to do commerce. So commerce was one of my electives. I don't know how many we had to choose, but let's just say there were 6. And commerce was literally the only subject that I actually wanted to do. And so I chose 5 others that I was not interested whatsoever. And I was like, my brain at the time said to myself, this just doesn't make sense. Spending the next 2 years in this institution learning 5 topics that I have no interest in and only one that I am interested in, like, no thank you. So I left school. I didn't do my year 11 and 12, and I worked at McDonald's full-time, went into management quite soon after I went full-time, and learned an awful lot of life lessons. And, being in that management position, part of that was like cash flow. It was stock control. It was learning how to lean into data and using that data in a purposeful and meaningful way in business to actually, motivate the staff to deal with complicated situations, to interpret that data and make bold moves, right? So from a very early age, I just turned 17 at this stage. I was exposed to business and how it operated and the behind the scenes of that, and taking on roles and responsibility that I shouldn't have had if people didn't actually, have faith in me, didn't see something in me, right? And that's essentially why my mother actually allowed me to leave year 11 and 12, because I committed to her. I was like, I don't know who you think that I am, but me not doing my HSC, I'm not going to be a deadbeat. I'm not going to fail in inverted commas, right? Do you not know me well enough that I'm going to succeed in whatever I do because I have a drive, I have a tenacity inside of me. I don't know what it is right now that I'm moving forward towards, but I know I'm moving forward. I trust myself, right? I trust myself. Can you trust me too? Obviously she did, because she let me leave. It would have been an awful 2 years if I had been forced to stay. However, glad I did, and it was literally the first moment of my life where I was like, this is the outcome of connecting with your truth and actioning that, to standing true in, this is what I want, this is what I desire. I don't want that thing that the rest of society tells me that I need to have in order to be a success, in order to have a business, in order to, get this amount of money in my world. No, fuck that. I can create my own path. I don't know what it looks like, but I know it's not this. I know that will not fulfill me at all. So why would I do that? I get to choose option C and go and work at freaking McDonald's. So what? I don't care what other people think of me. I'm over here making a living. I'm over here spending the last 2 years of my dad's life and actually enjoying working because other people chose themselves to, right? I had a much more fulfilling those 2 years were incredibly more fulfilling, working full time and spending time with my dad, who would actually pass in that time, than doing my HSC. Getting sidetracked again. I was going to apologize right now, but no, this is a sorry-free zone is in my coaching spaces. I've got a question for you. Do you want your 2024 to look exactly the same as this current year? Or are you ready for some sassy wake-up calls around your money world and a fire to be lit under your eyes? Introducing the Money Queen Coaching Package, a 6-week journey which has already been a key pivotal experience for queens just like you to shift their relationship with money. Get a personalized sacred money archetype reading, which is pretty much like a human design, but for your money world, filled with aha moments and 2 tailored 90-minute sessions to reset your money mindset and unleash your magnetic power. Click the link in the show notes to claim your throne, Queen. So how I evolved into money coaching now and what I do and the impact that I'm making, and perhaps why even a money coach is relevant for you, is because I have found a beautiful freaking niche of having so I have a background in accounting. Don't hold it against me. I was an accountant for 4.5 years, and then I had a bookkeeping company for 6. And I still do a bit of bookkeeping these days, but it's meshed in with my money coaching as well, which is, how I operate my business right now. It's providing that masculine and feminine structure and support to give clients the practical systems structure processes of the lakhs of zero, and looking at their processes, looking at their strategy, what do they actually get to implement in their business to embrace automation, embrace AI, so that they can have the business that they desire. And then so then we've got the data to actually support our drive, to support our strategic decisions, to allow us to deal in reality. Right? Because so many business owners, female business owners in particular, are like, oh, I think this, and then make actions from that, take movement and make actions. Oh my gosh, you know what I mean? From that place of assumption. And what do we know about assumptions? It makes an ass out of you and me. So let's allow ourselves to lean into the data so that we can actually take strategic moves from a place of accuracy, so that we can allow that data to be our friend, not our foe, and move forward with intentionality, move forward with direction, right? Create an actual map instead of going, this is what the world looks like, but I have no idea how on earth I'm going to get to the other side of that. Right? That's like putting manifestation out there, putting manifestation goals and being like, I want to, let's say, go to Europe next month for a month. I've no idea how I'm going to get there, but I just know that I will. And then not doing anything about it, doing the same thing. Doesn't make sense. It's manifest action, right? I know that I want to get to Europe next month for a month, and these are the steps that I get to do in order to prepare for that, in order to pay for that, in order to be present whilst I'm over there, right? That's what I did when I was planning my trip. There was manifest action in play there, not just manifestation. Anyone who just does manifestation, my friend, we need to have a discussion. So the benefits of having a money coach like myself in your world, and particularly myself because of that unique skill set, is that you get to be held in the ATO compliance side of things, the black and white, the things that you actually need your business to grow and to thrive from a practical level. And then you get the money mindset work. You get the what was it like growing up for you? What money stories were being told around the dinner table, if any? Right? Was money not discussed at all when you grew up? What experiences did you have when you asked for something in the shops? When you walked through an expensive shop, were you constantly told, don't touch that. We can't afford that. Put that down. Don't break anything. If you break it, you buy it. It comes out of your pocket money. Right? What were the stories that happened when you grew up, and what are you still choosing to hold on to? What are you imparting onto your own children if you have them? Is that how you want them to grow up? Right? Can you shift that reality? Because we are the creators of our own reality. So what are you now choosing with this increased awareness? Because everyone is doing the best that they can with the knowledge and awareness that they have at the time. Right? And that's a huge piece of what the work that I do with clients is increasing their awareness about their relationship with money. in all facets, in the black and white, the ATO compliance side, the bookkeeping and accounting side, and also the mindset stuff, right? Because we cannot move through what we cannot see. And like I said in my last episode, every challenge can be moved through with a different perspective, whether or not you need to move out or you need to lean more in. You get a different perspective. It can be solved with a different level of perspective. If you do not reach out and gain that different perspective shift, you cannot see the potential issue, the potential problem. Therefore, you cannot move through that. And that's why I as a person, as a business owner, always has a coach by my side. Or if I don't, it's because I'm like, I'm in integration time right now. I'm integrating what I have learned, the new perspectives and the new awarenesses that I have received, and now I get to integrate. An example recently, this week, a couple of days ago, actually, I had an end of month meeting with a client, and the shifts that she has made in working with me for the last 12 months, she's now able to, from her business, pay for her child's private schooling. And it's about $3,500 per term. And at the start of the conversation, she's like, I know that I really want to do this to support our family so that this business is actually supporting this business is supporting the family how I desire it to be. However, I just don't know. Like, I feel like it's a really big stretch. And so we went through her numbers, her actual numbers, because we've got Xero in place and the file is up to date. And we know our taxes for last financial year because she hasn't lodged it just yet. We know our tax provisions for this current year because, again, we have real-time data that we can talk actual numbers. We look at the dollars and cents that are in her bank accounts right now, in her trading account and in her GST and savings account. And we had a surplus of about $20,000. And it was like, Queen, have a look at the numbers. You want to take out $3,500 per term? We already have it here. But at the start of the conversation, it was like, this feels like a huge stretch because I don't have it. I didn't think that I had a great month this month financially. We had a look at the numbers. She'd done a 20 grand month. That's what I mean by getting a different perspective. In this scenario, it's getting the actual numbers, because the perspective at the start of that conversation, at the start of that meeting was, I'm not doing well enough financially to support my family to pay for my child's private education. The story, the facts rather, at the end of that meeting was, I've actually got a 20 grand buffer right now in my business that I can do what I want with. I can pull it out. And that means that I can support my family. And there's actually abundance left over. And I get to pay for my child's private education. How fucking cool is that? Right? We moved from the space of assumption into reality, into the actual numbers, into allowing the numbers and the data to support us. And that is the power of having someone like me on your side. Because you get to be supported in all areas of money. All areas. As we are getting towards the end of the year, do not wait, my friend. Do not wait to be like, I'll wait till the 1st of January to change my life. No, the people who are switched on in business, who are the movers and the shakers, they are already planning for who do I want in my space for 2024. Right? And if you have listened to this episode and previous episodes of mine and went, God, I really would love Alex in my world to help me with my money world, to help me lean into the data, the numbers, the figures, to allow that to support me as opposed to being scared by it, to allowing fear of what the numbers actually mean for you and your business, to control where your business is capped at. Because, Queen, not sorry to say it, if you're fearful of the numbers, your business will be capped at whatever you think that you are worth. And as you saw from or heard from that scenario, what you think may be happening versus the actual reality may be vastly different. So are you cock-blocking yourself in your assumptions when the actual reality is completely different? If you would love that support, that level of support in your world to allow your 2024 to be the best year yet, then slide into my DMs, my friend, slide into my DMs, and let's talk about what your 2024 gets to look like with having someone like me by your side. I would love to hear from you. Thank you, Queen, for saying yes to your yes in listening to this episode and being a part of raising the feminine collective one conversation at a time. Remember to share this episode with your business besties and join me in breaking the tabooness around having money conversations. As always, if you have enjoyed this episode, please rate, subscribe, and share this on your social media, remembering to tag me in it to help this conversation go further, which creates a bigger ripple effect.